Oh my gosh, you have got to be freaking kidding me. It was right there the whole time. Gotta catch y'all up. The last few days, I've been working on getting this grow space, garage, set up for the wintertime for all the tropicals and everything. In last week's vlog, I brought in all the little plants. And I have been holding off on bringing the big plants until I get some more work done. I've wanted to add in some more light fixtures, change out some bulbs, put some more of the insulation, that heat barrier stuff up on the ceiling. Things are just hard to do when the big plants are in here. And things that were simple got really complicated. So here's what I did. I wanted to have more of these fans, right? These are just the socket fans. They're quick, they're easy, but I needed bases for them, so I found some light socket bases that you just mount into a stud or drywall, I guess you're feeling daring, and you just plug them in. Easy, way easier than having to hardwire something. So I did 2 of those, one right here, one down there, and I had 2 fans. Like this, like that one right there. I couldn't find the remote control for either one of them. Well, one of them, yeah, no, I couldn't find the remote for either one, but one of them I couldn't even, the blades weren't in the box. I got these fans last winter, thinking I'd set them up last winter, and then I got them, and I was like, there's no way, because there are just plants everywhere in here. It's going to be too much of a headache. So I said, okay, well, I'll just wait to do that next year before I bring the plants in. The reason I have these fans here is because all the hot air from that heater, you know, it does what hot air does. It rises, and having some fans just helps blow that air down. And it's good to have lots of air moving around the plants as well. I have other fans in here for that purpose. Just, you know, want to keep things moving. Good for the plants, right? And supposedly, maybe will help with the heat, right? Have that down there. You can feel it. You get on a ladder up here and you're doing anything near the ceiling, it's hot up there. But I did notice by the time I got this one installed and had all these others running, I have more. There's more right here. Just need to switch them on. That makes a big difference. It really, really does help a lot. That's why I wanted 2 more. I had those 2 already. This one I got installed last night. I had to go to the store and buy 2 new fans, so I couldn't find the remote for the one and the blades for the other. And I got this one right here, which is just a waste. It's stupid, but it was on clearance. It was like 15 bucks, something like that. The breeze is not strong. It's not strong enough for what I need to do. That other one is one of the Bell & Howell ones, which is great, but it's overpriced. Little rundown on these fans. The other ones that I have are just off-brand, whatever you would call, like some random named items. I think they're from Temu. They came in a 2-pack for like 20 bucks, and they work wonderfully. You need to be careful. This whole video is going to turn into a fan review. That's not the point. With the ones that are from the Temu or wherever, maybe they were Amazon. I don't know. They're not that different anymore. You have all these options, 6 fan speeds, and you can reverse the blades, and you can set the light on a timer, and you can change the color of the light and dim the light. That's great. The Bell & Howell one, that one, it has 3 different lighting modes, and that's it. Well, and the fan has 3 different modes, but you can't do it to reverse. You can't have it blow the air up, which is a useful thing too when you're trying to control the climate. That's the whole point of a fan, right? And that thing was 40 bucks. Well, anyways, I found the remote control. It was right here on my desk. It was right there inside that cup. That's the missing remote. I don't know if it's the right remote control. Need to toss some batteries into this thing and have a look. Also, hey, now that we're almost 4 minutes into the video, I suppose I should say, hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. How's everybody doing? You're doing well. I'm great. Flustered. Multitasking. Got a lot going on right now. And those little things that are supposed to be simple just haven't been working out so simply. Gotta love when that happens. Now, hopefully, this will be the remote. It'll be the right remote. Yes, yes. So these other ones up here, the remote does matter. Like the remote for that light doesn't work on that one. All right, now I can test this. This one is a little bit different from the others. Does it do anything? Does it do anything? How about that? How about that? Okay, maybe it's not for... Oh, that's for the fan. Gotta turn the fan on and off. All right, well, okay. That's good. That's good enough. I don't want this running on that little clamp clip on the shelf. Perfect. So I can put that up where that other not as great light is, the other one. And that issue has been solved. They come with these little mounting things, so you can mount them to the wall. I haven't done that, but I probably should. In other news, the main thing that I wanted to get done was I just wanted to get some more work done in here and just bring y'all along for the vlogginess of it all. I have these pots over here that I spray painted yesterday. They were pink. Now it's blue. A little bit of pink eye. Taped it off, but you know how that goes. Some of it gets through. This one is still tacky. It was yellow, now it's green, and it's still tacky. It was raining yesterday, which is so great. We haven't had rain in such a long time. I'm very happy about it. But the humidity made this take a long time to dry. This one actually wasn't as bad, but this one, well, it's still wet. Anyways, here's the pot. I put a blue on there with this color shifting paint that's a top coat that is very hard to control the flow of. It comes out very unevenly, and that's just what happens, but I think that's okay. The color shifting thing isn't even all that apparent on camera, especially if you're not over a really dark color. I thought this was a dark enough color, but that's not the point. I think I'm going to put this gymnocalacium in here. You guys remember this guy? The Mahavakia? Yeah, that's it. Something like that. Really pretty moon cactus. This one has really lovely variegation on it. We'll bring it up here closer to a light. You can get a better view of it. And I think that would look nice in that container. I like these to have a larger container because it makes it easier to water them without having to get the water on the plant. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but it's still tacky. So I guess for right now, I'm not going to do anything with it. It can just hang out here and dry. So first I should go ahead and take this down and get this hung up where it's supposed to be. I want to keep the air flowing properly in here, right? Not much has changed in here since last week's video, because it's only been about, I don't know, 24 hours since I released that one. I've just been doing things, changing out light bulbs, mostly adjusting a grow lamp that's over there. I'll show you that in a little bit, and then, well, now this. This has been great, though. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and it wasn't until last year that I was like, oh, well, this won't be that complicated. Just figure out a way to get a light socket up there without hardwiring it. It'd be a pain in the butt to do it through my attic. That's all totes and boxes and things up there. It's just not how I would want to do things. This is an extender. This piece right there, that's an extender. This actually has two extenders on it. I don't know if that's gonna be necessary. Should I take this one off? I don't know. It's something to think about. Right now, I'll put it over there and see how low this hangs. I think that'd be pretty good. Oh, you see what's happening. I think this is a good height because right there is that big hole that goes up into the attic. And this is really where I do want to make sure that air is moving and blowing down the most. So maybe being up higher is better. I don't know. Oh, and the brand is hard to. It's up here. So I don't remember. It's like KALIQ something. We're gonna go all the way around. Did you get to see it? I don't know. Maybe you got to see my forehead though. Or something awkward. There was a lot of trouble finding the stud. I used 2 different stud finders. They kept saying the stud was right there. And it said it was right there. It had to be. There's a bolt right here that goes into the stud. And I could see where the drywall things were. And I drywalled the ceiling. I did this. So I know that the studs run this way. I had a friend here helping me. And they were like, no. They have to be going this way because this doesn't make any sense. Like, no, I swear they go this way. And look at the thing. And he's like, oh, that's just how they box it. It's like, no, it's not. I drywalled the ceiling. So eventually I just went up in the attic. And I just went across the stud and just popped 2 little holes down so we could find it. So now I gotta fix that up too. That's okay. It's pretty easy to spackle up a hole. That's no big deal. Also got air compressor hose installed to the wall. Wanted to do that for about 10 years. What are those things that just kept falling on the back burner? I had that. I got that at Harbor Freight for a really good price a long time ago. Just never got around to hanging it up. Oh, hold on. The remote control's in my pocket. I was going back to the desk to get it. I have it right here. On. Oh. What's the problem? Did I not screw the light bulb in I don't know how to put it. What? I swear, the last 48 hours has just been a non-stop load of chaos with nothing being simple. Maybe it's not in there right. I'll try this with 2 hands. Probably the way I should have been doing to begin with. Okay. It didn't like the adapter. I'm going to try a different one, see if that will work. If not, then I guess it can just be up here. Alright, that's good. That happens to the adapter sometimes. There's a name. Cactus, whatever that is. I don't know. It's something like that. It's an interesting name. So this was some kind of thing where you could tell they're just ripping off Bell & Howell, so I don't know if the brand's even still around. Maybe Bell & Howell said, not gonna get away with that. Alright. Fan on. There we go. Let's see, do the different things. So this one's different from my other one, so I don't really know. It's my first time getting to try it out. I feel a breeze, which is More than I could say for the other one. This one's more wobbly than the other one. Fan speeds, and that's low, medium, and high. Just crank it up to high. Yeah, I might have to take this off the adapter. That's wobbling a lot. This fan's much more vibrated than the other one. I don't know about that. Breeze-wise, I'm not so sure. I don't know if I would recommend the Cactus, whatever that is. It's decent. Go over here to the Bell and Howell. Let's see what that's like. Oh, yeah, no, that's much, much stronger. That's much better. And even this one over here that I don't have a name of, this is the best one by far. It's also lowest. That one's hanging down the furthest. That probably makes a difference too, right? I'm gonna take it off of that adapter though, because I don't like the way that's spinning and wobbling around. That's not gonna be good for the light. It's not gonna be good for the thingy. I hit the off button on the fan. You don't wanna turn off? There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, that still has a lot of wobble to it. Up close, the breeze is great, but not as good as the others. That's enough of that. I'm not trying to give anybody a seizure. That was too close to that light. Sorry about that. Actually, I think the breeze is better without the adapter. The light's holding still. It's not wobbling as much. It's still not great. Is the ladder just blocking all of it? I'm going to set this stuff down. In the other one, you can feel it. It's decent. It is definitely better than the one that I took down, so that's good. That might be, I'd say, just 10% worse than the others. So I think it was just because I wasn't directly underneath it. That's pretty good. Especially for the cost. Okay. That's something I wanted to do, like I said, for a long time, is to just have that extra airflow in here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these smaller fans just to keep that air moving. I had this one here all year last winter. Never bothered the palms. I think there's enough humidity over here for them. But it wasn't drying them out. So that worked out well. This thing, it's a gimmicky thing. It's like a UV catch bugs kind of thing that I thought would be good for fungus gnats or something. And I never ever noticed like a pile of dead bugs underneath it. It's always been up here in this light fixture. So I took it down to test that light bulb, and I was like, I'm gonna throw it this way. This thing's dumb. And I started looking, and I was going, oh wait, maybe it's not so dumb. That's been catching some stuff. So I guess I'll go ahead and screw it back in. You know, not a miracle worker, but it's doing something. You can unscrew this. I don't remember why. Maybe to clean it? Yeah, to clean it. Oh, and it's got a little brush. How cute. So what do we have in here? Mosquitoes? Yeah, that looks like it's mostly mosquitoes. They're not alive. That's just the wind, I assume. I can't really tell. That would be really mean, and I would feel bad about that, even though the whole point of this is to kill them. Alright, yeah, okay, so I'm going to clean this off and put it back up. Why not? And remember, I've had this for 2 years, so it's not like this was doing amazing things. But it got some, and that's good. The mosquitoes can get really obnoxious out here. I have the dunks floating around in the water. That helps a lot, and just having the water movement helps. Once we move further into the off seasons of indoor growing season, and I'm using more of this water, that helps a ton because this gets frequent water changes. Very, very frequent water changes. This thing does not want to snap into place. There we go. Gonna do it. Turn on. Wow, what's with me and light bulbs today? What's that about? There we go. This has different functions too. You can see there's just like a regular little dim UV bulb in there. Then there's one that's a full-on light bulb, and I don't remember how you reset it other than just unscrewing it and screwing it back in. That seems to work just fine. All right. Making some progress here. 14 minutes in it. So far, it's just Jeff does things with light bulbs. Now, the way vlogs go. All right, what's I going to do? I'm going to repot this guy. I have a mix over here that is what I was using for a lot of just my tropicals and houseplants last year. I think that I can use this for the cactus, but I'm going to need to add some sand to it. I want this open. There we go. That's a tight fit, which is good. That's the whole point. Let me have a look in here. I'm going to want to avoid the sphagnum moss. I don't need that much. Such things, I don't want to make a big blend of cactus mix when I don't need a lot. So I'm just going to use this mix and pick around the moss. Get some sand into it, maybe some perlite. Really just want to make sure it drains very sharply. Okay, sand. Where is sand? I know I have a bag over here that's partially open. I prefer to use that. I want to go busting open a new bag. I don't have to. Maybe I don't have a bag that's partially open. Huh. Oh, I do. It's back there. No, I don't. That's lava rock. That's okay. Black sand. That'll work. It's fine. I don't need a lot. This really should be plenty. For some lava rock in there, too. I don't use this red all that often. The lava chips I have out here are mostly for bonsai. And, I don't know. I just don't usually find myself wanting to use the red. I really just prefer the more earth tone. Wow, that black sand looks great, and it smells really funny. That's not sand. I'm not sure what it is. I guess it might be like sandblasting sand, which is just like, what, shredded metal, I think. There's not going to be an ingredient. It says great for cactus, right? So, okay. I don't know what that smell is. It's not a toxic smell. It's just kind of a clay smell. That'll be fine. I'm not that concerned about it. Add in a handful of lava. That's going to drain beautifully. Probably going to drain too well. I have a habit of overdoing with the drainage. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Like I said, just have to pick around that moss. And really, if a little bit of moss were to get into this, it's not going to be the end of the world. Because this is going to drain so well that shouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't want the moss to be up against the base of the plant. But if a little bit of it were near the roots, it should be okay. Because this is going to drain so sharply that shouldn't, well, really shouldn't even matter. Okay. Is that good? Oh, okay. Get that guy out of there. Yeah, pour some more of that out. Go about halfway down, do a moss check. A lot of the roots aren't even going to go all the way down in there. Okay, that's good. Look at all that sand. That's fine. Like how I just keep reassuring everybody so I don't get yelled at by the cactus people. It's going to be okay. This is a very similar blend to what it's already potted up in. I don't normally buy a cactus blend that's made for cactus. I just use potting mix and add stuff to it so it drains well. Make sure that there's nothing up against the base of the plant that'll hold water. That's generally fine. What do we think of the pots? They came out nicely. I just wasn't into the pink and the yellow. I wanted to change. I figured, why go buy new pots when these are right here and they're cool? Just, you know, need something different. And they're going to be on the fun side of the desk too. So I wanted some brighter colors. You know, fun side. And then I have my more serious side over here that's got all the clutter in it. There we go. Ooh, artistic. That's not supposed to be here. That's going to go elsewhere later. But it's just nice having everything up here. Same with the bonsai. I just tossed that together the other day, and this is just where it's sitting. Okay. Do this part. Have a good look at it. Oh, wow, look at all those roots. Such a vibrant, healthy plant. Well, I don't see any rot. I'll get you guys in there. Get in closer. See? Not seeing any rot. So that's good. Yeah. And here's the deal with this. It does have roots. They're just very, very, very shallow. And I have not watered this in I don't know how long. Maybe months since I've watered. Oh, well, that... I'd say that shot right there pretty much just says it all, doesn't it? How about those roots? This was outside during the summer under an umbrella. I never watered it because I was like, you know, I don't want to overwater it. That's easy to do. But I really didn't take into account that we were just going through a drought. That, I mean, we're still in a drought, but we had not a full day, but a ton of rain yesterday, which is so nice. But during that dry period, I probably should have been giving this a spritz of water probably once a week. So it was warm, and the air was very dry. After several weeks of drought, we lost a lot of the humidity. So, I don't know. Oops, it'll be okay. I can just add some more of the soil back into it, actually. Because, well, not a lot of digging and planting to do with this. I'm basically just going to be setting this on top of the soil at this point. I don't like to use starter fertilizers with cactus. Not typically a great idea. You see, I'm still just trying to pick those things out. I'm patting it down. I don't always pat soil down these days, but pat it down lightly. When I do fertilize my cactus, I pretty much just stick with using something like a tomato fertilizer. A lot of cactus do out the tomato fertilizer. Generally, I'll do a slow release one. It's generally all they need. It has the calcium in there that they prefer. This isn't in a place where it's going to need fertilizing anytime soon, though. Okay, pulled out a few bark chunks and then replace that. Put some new soil in there. It wouldn't be a terrible idea probably to pre-moisten this, since I'm saying that this cactus doesn't have much going on as far as roots are concerned. That's something you could do. I don't think I really need to. I just take this guy. See, I dug out a well. And sometimes I overdo it with my well. So that could have been part of the problem with this, is that there may have been an air gap around there. You can use a chopstick if you have one. I don't have any with me right now. But I have this little mini rake thing. And use that. That's not going to bother anybody. First, got to get that out. Got to get that leaf out. There we go. That was going to annoy me. You take that. You just gently push that soil down into that space. Like that. That should do the trick. Then I'll water it in. And I'm going to put this in place with really good airflow, where it's not going to get splashed with any water. And I'm going to give it a big drink. Because, well, clearly it could need it. Now, one thing about this cactus right here, these, well, really all cactus. This is a fairly broad statement, what I'm about to say here. But the moon cactus, these gymnocalacium, they shrivel a lot. They can take a ton of drought stress. And you'll see a lot of wrinkles on them when they're to that point. And this one, it has some wrinkles in there. Oh, and some cobwebs. Lovely. But not much. However, in the right conditions, they can also inflate out, kind of like a balloon. And they look really pretty when they do that too. And that's what I would like for this to look like. Which means I do need to focus on making sure that this thing does put out some more roots and becomes more of an established plant. I was so happy with it. I was like, oh, this cactus is doing so well. Because it did put on some size since last time I showed it on camera, which was sometime last year. But, well, that doesn't always mean much now, does it? That is something that, I don't know how to say it's thrown me off, but it's complicated things for me in the past when it comes to potting up cactus, is that, well, I have the habit, as many of us do, unless we exclusively grow cactus and succulents, where when you repot a plant, you give it a nice big drink and you do what I always call just burping the soil. It lets all those bubbles out. You give it a nice heavy water. Usually do that about 3 times. Let that run all the way through. I don't typically do that with a cactus, unless it's, you know, maybe an Petunia during the active growing season, or some other types. They're like the tropical type cactus, epiphyllums, those things. Even a Flumbigera, like this one over here, it's a holiday cactus. They don't really mind that sort of thing. The gymnocalacium, these are fairly sturdy. I think that'll be okay. I like to top dress this. I'm going to find some gravel. Probably go ahead and put this back. I'm going over there. Look how dirty the tables become. Have these nice and clean, but I'm about to bring in more plants, so it doesn't really matter. I also, sidetracking, well, I put a splash guard up here, right there. Not really to protect the plants from the waterfall, but more to protect the fish from the plants, because I do systemic in these, and I've done that for a few years, and I've always just been very careful. But I have a new watering setup, a new pump and everything. The water pressure is a lot better, and it seems like it's splattering more when I water, and I don't want to risk that stuff getting in the water. Well, I said, I don't know. I do know. I don't want to get in the water. Oh, look, there's some nice pumice. That would have been great to use. That section over there. So we have these like pinkish rocks. I don't really care for those. River pebbles. Those are glass. I might just go ahead and use some bonsai stone. It's a nice darker colored stone. I think that this would be fine. That'd be good. I also have this in here, which is more of a pebble. Not a lot left in here, but it's really smooth. Has a nice look to it. I think it'll blend in really well with the yeah, I'll use this. I know what's going to happen here. It's still going to leave just a teeny tiny bit. I'm going to have to hold on to this big bag. I'm going to find a different container to pour this into. Yeah, that's pretty good. Got some on top. I'll grab a brush later and try and clean that out. I like that. So it's subtle. It's not too much. And somehow this doesn't look centered, but I'm not messing with it anymore. There we go. Yay! Repotted a cactus, or really just potted a cactus cutting. It's more really what happened. It's beautiful. Put this stuff away and grab a watering can, give that guy a good drink. And then, I don't know, we'll do something else. There's plenty of other things that need to be done in here. Let's go. go ahead and give you the water that you've probably been dreaming about for quite a long time. Oops. These things happen. It's alright. It's going to survive. Alright. I think that's good. The water's coming out the bottom very slowly. This pot doesn't have the best like lift from its drainage. Sort of lift that up, it'll probably drain better. I know that I don't want it sitting in the water, so I'm gonna have to remember in about 15 minutes to go ahead and dump that out. I probably could go ahead and do it now. Okay, but there's lots of airflow in here. The air is fairly dry. Okay, no, I can't do it. It's gonna bug me. Never have a cactus sitting in water. It doesn't matter if you just repotted it. It's just not a good idea. Drainage dish on this one is really more of just an aesthetic thing. I think it's kind of helps protect the surface, I suppose. Not a lot, but it does something, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna get the desk cleaned off. And then, well, I already said we were gonna do something new, didn't I? I probably should have had that planned up before I picked the camera back up, huh? Oh, forgot. I have this thing here. Spider Farmer New Grow Ventilation Circulation New. Always supposed to say ventilation. That's the little ellipses there. Your reliable indoor growing partner. Yeah, Spider Farmer makes some pretty good stuff. I suppose the theme of this video is airflow, right? And repotting a cactus. That is a big part of indoor growing. When you have this many plants, airflow does matter for a lot of reasons. Not just for what I'm doing, which is to make sure the air is moving so all the hot air isn't settled up at the ceiling. Also, aren't the fans supposed to go the other way to like pull the cold air up and move the hot? I can't remember the rules. Whatever, as long as the air's moving. That's what matters. It's just good for the plants. And you don't need a lot. This over here, that's overkill. That's overkill, but they were okay with it last year, so I assume they will be this year. More like you see this right here. You can just bear, not this one. Not that one. Just look at this one right here. You see how there's just a tiny bit of movement? It's very, very subtle. It's not much at all. That's good. Doesn't need to be a lot stronger than that. I know that there's the sayings about, you know, if your plants go without airflow, then they have weak growth. That's true to an extent. Or they used to say to, like, shake your plants. So, keep them stronger. I don't think you need to do that. I mean, how many people have been growing houseplants in their home without a fan on them? Ficus trees, snake plants, pothos. They're generally okay. Really, the only plants that I ever have noticed suffering from not enough airflow are, well, plants that could rot out, like a cactus, or things that just don't transition well to being moved in and out, period. Plants like banana trees, when I bring them in here for the winter time, with the exception of the super dwarf Cavendish type bananas, but just regular, even the Enset, the Morellias, the red obsidian bananas, when I have them inside, I usually cull the leaves off, so that doesn't matter, but I'll let them grow a few leaves. When I move them outside, they tend to go, oh, what is this environment? And their leaves go, they drop them down. Washingtonia, the Mexican fan palms or California fan palm, whether it's the Folifera or the Robusta, they do that as well. So usually making sure that I have some more airflow on those does help with that. With the bananas, I don't really care. Go ahead and drop a few leaves. They'll grow them back in a few weeks. It doesn't matter. So it's really just for like those Washingtonias that I've had issues with. Otherwise, it's not that big of a deal. It just helps keep some consistency with your grow room having airflow. And it can be beneficial with pests to an extent. You know, the old saying used to be one of the best ways to not have spider mites was to have high humidity and airflow. I've got plenty of airflow, and the humidity in here is pretty dang good. You know, probably around 70 to 85%, higher than that on days when I water. Well, that doesn't stop spider mites. But I didn't have a spider mite issue until like 2 or 3 years ago, probably 3 years ago. And then I never really had spider mites. So maybe the old spider mites didn't like that, but the new spider mites, this new generation, they don't care. They're buttheads. They'll just, they seem to enjoy the breeze and the humidity. Rainforest spider mites is how it's seeming these days. This feels pretty heavy duty. This wasn't terribly expensive. It was on discount. I think it was like $35. I was expecting this to be more pricey. Just this sort of thing usually is. I was also really curious to have a look at this because I need a good fan to put in the canopy of one of my fish tanks. Is this driving anybody else crazy? I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of here. One of my aquariums is built in and the lights put out a lot of heat. It gets really warm, and because of that, I'm constantly having to change out their little I don't know, they're power bricks, they're transformers. They get too hot. And I've tried different fans up there, but it's hard to find one that's big enough that also mounts somewhere within the canopy without, I don't know, it's been complicated. So I did get this to try out on the plant shelves over here, but really the airflow seems good enough. You can look over there, there's some movement. Not a lot, but there's some. Give it a second. There's an oscillating fan up on the wall. It's going to make something move, I swear. There's going to be some movement. Move. There we go. See? Air movement. It's not a lot, but it's enough. Enough for what we're talking about here. Dang. This thing is packaged very, very, very well. It's not what I'm used to when you buy a fan. That's a nice soft plastic. I just like that nice soft plastic. I mean, it's still plastic, but you know, it feels good. Seems decent. Quality feels fine. 8 watt, plus or minus 5%. This is the 6-inch clip fan. And I assume you probably just take this guy, put it down in here, and then go ahead and take this and screw it in. You see, the thing I like about this is, well, one, there's lots of different positions you can put this in. Tighten that down, loosen it. You can move it around. Same thing with this piece right here. Loosen that one, and then you can you can adjust this one as well. You can see the clamp on this is made circular. So this is actually intended to clamp on to these racks over here. That's really smart. Should I do it upside down? It's probably not necessary, but I think that would be the most fitting for how I'm growing things. That clamped right on there, no problem. Look at that. That's nifty. The on-off is up top. There's buttons. Oh, is that one? No, it did come with directions. There it is. Buttons over there on that side. Okay, and I assume that that's going to make it oscillate. How's the breeze? I feel nothing. I feel, well, there's a little. I feel a small breeze. I assume that if I keep clicking the button, it's going to get stronger, right? Yeah? It's a little bit stronger. Okay. Yeah, that's decent, because remember, you're just looking for a very gentle breeze. Nothing that strong. The oscillation, I don't know how many degrees that is, but it's not much. However, these are made to go inside of grow tents, but that's really... Can you increase the oscillation, or is it just on and off? Is that any wider? I'll go look at the directions, because this isn't very helpful to you all. It does seem like that's just one way, though. That's all that's doing. It's not changing it. But again, it's supposed to be a gentle breeze, right? Oh, wow, I really just gypped you guys. There's all kinds of information in here. So I saw this on it was on Amazon. I'm pretty sure it was marked down to like $35. I was like, oh, well, that's a good price. I'll get it. It's Spider Farmer and Spider Farm, whichever one. Let's give that a try. I didn't even realize some of these things. So it has 10 different functions for the oscillation with a maximum angle of 90 degrees. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Fan features 2 adjustable knobs. We know about that. I already showed you that. You can adjust the angle. And it has 10 different speeds, too, for the power. I'm going to go ahead and lower this down, because he's talking about some LED indicator lights, and I can't see them. Go. Bring this down here. Oh, are these the LEDs? Well, I can't see that through the grow lights. That's not... Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Though you would think with my hand cupped over it, you'd be able to see them. Maybe it only blinks when you push the button. No. And that's pretty dang dark. I should be able to see those. I don't see anything. How can I tell if this is doing anything? I don't know how many times I've clicked it. Do I have to hold it down when I click it? That might be a little bit bigger. I mean, if there's 10 different settings, then that would make sense. You have to probably push it a whole bunch in order to get it to do much of anything. Yes, that's definitely going wider there. Couldn't tell you how many clicks that is, because I can't read this LED. It's not... No, there's not... I don't see anything. I'll come up here and turn these lights down. See if that might help. I mean, really, I had my hand cupped over it. So you should be able to see that. I still don't see anything, do you? Oh, there it is. You have to be at just the right angle to see it. Got to be directly above it. There we go. All right, so that's maximum flow. Pretty dang good at maximum flow. Now let's look at the oscillation. That is, I'm going to turn it up all the way. There we go. There's the maximum oscillation on there. Okay, so the only thing I would say is it's not that useful having that up there, because most people are going to have these possibly up higher than where you can see them. It's too hard to see. But it's good to know. I guess you just got to make sure you're getting into the right spot when you adjust it. Not that big of a deal. Raise this back up. Yeah. See, I don't think that you even need a breeze that strong in here. I'd say that that's too intense. However, maybe you're not running them for very long. Your fan. When I say them, I mean your fan. That's a possibility. Yeah, so that would be fine. Really don't need them to run that long if they're up this high. This says it also has a memory function, which is pretty awesome because there's not a simple switch to use on it. And this is on a timer. This whole thing, everything's plugged into something that runs off of a timer. And it would probably be better for the fans to be on a separate timer. That way you can make sure that they're shut off during the day, or not during the day, during the night. You don't need them running as high normally. Memory function, after a power outage, the fan will return to its previous working state, including speed level and oscillation once it's turned back on. Light off function, after 10 seconds of inactivity, all indicator lights will turn off. Good to know. Press your button to illuminate them. And to the working mode, press again to operate. Intelligent control. The clip fan can be linked with the GGS power strip and control. I'm not doing all that. But that is cool that you can put it into some sort of automated system if that's something you're doing. I like it. Like I said, it doesn't need to be up this high. I think that would really tick the plants off. Potentially, maybe this much of a breeze would deter the spider mites. I don't know. These lights up here, they don't get all that hot. Otherwise, I would really probably just have these pointed up there to do that. I'm going to turn this down. That should take it back to its lowest speed there, right? That feels the same. Am I really going to have to bring this down every time I want to adjust it? Is that going to the low speed, or is it just turning off now? Alright, so apparently I had this one below its highest speed. I'm going to go, say 40%, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be a decent enough breeze. Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that. It could even be weaker than that. I think that I'll adjust this down some. I'll loosen this piece right here. Not tighten it. Loosen it. Point it down. Come on. Well, it's sturdy, that's for sure. Probably should not have this on it in the oscillation mode when doing all this. Not a good idea. I need to loosen it more. Okay. Well, good. It's really secure. That's awesome. Don't have to worry about that flopping down. Unless, maybe I already have that pointed down all the way. Oh, I do. Okay. Well, good to know. This would be when you would want to probably turn it upside down. I can lower this one down. Right? Come on. Come on. Like that. Oh, that's just a shot of the pole. There we go. Tighten that up. Great camera angle, right? Yeah. So you can get more direct with it. I like it. Airflow is important. Not something I'm terribly concerned about right now, because I'm not keeping things all that warm in here this time of year. But moving into, I don't know, January, sometime in there, when I crank the heater up to a higher level, I do want to make sure there's more airflow. The more humidity, the more airflow, and the more warmth. More warmth and humidity, the more airflow. Does that make sense? It's not just the pests that it, helps a little bit with deterring some pests, and it's not just about the strength and structure of the growth on the plant, but also keeping away molds and fungus and those things that can grow into places and all the nooks and crannies. You want to be able to have things get watered and not say sopping wet, but they also want the humidity. Right? It's all about just kind of creating a good ecosystem for everything. And that's why I really went in on the airflow this year. I might get another one of those to put over there on that shelf up there. I could maybe get another one to put up higher. I don't think I need to. No, there's air movement up there. I can see the gingers and things. They're moving when the oscillating fan that's up there goes over there. And that's all it needs. This one fan right here, when it comes over there, you give it a few seconds, the plants up there, they do just a little bit of movement. You saw that leaf? That's good. That's fine. That'll do the trick. Okay, hey, I think that's going to do it. Shorter video for a Saturday video, I know, but I have mentioned that this is just a busy time of year. Got a lot going on this year at the end of October. I just thought I'd bring it all along while I did a few little fidgety things and talk about airflow and repot a cactus. It's not like your plants are going to drop dead if you don't have a fan on them. I mean, come on. Really, I've been doing this grow space thing here for years, and for the longest time I just had that fan and another fan sitting up there, and that was it. I just noticed last year when I put in this fan and that fan, just these cheap little socket light fans, that helped tremendously with, one, not having to run the heaters often, and just things drying out more quickly. Not so fast that they're having problems, but when it's humid, like I say, I don't want things to stay wet for too long. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. And that's why I've added more. That and these corners over here and over there, they're just really dark spots in the garage, so it's just good to have more light over there, period. So easy to do what I did. There was just the little light socket that just screws into a stud. Very, very simple. And this is a bonus, I suppose, if you're using a tent. Then this would be nifty. Or just to have it paired. You might want to know about the noise level. I'm going to get up close to it. There's a gentle hum. I'll turn it up all the way. What was it on 4? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Give that a second. Get up to full blast. And now, let's see. Well, the microphone and my hand. There we go. The microphone's right up there. It's not that loud. It's pretty quiet. So that's surprising. Usually the cheaper the fans, the louder the fans are. I like it. This is good. It's gonna do the trick. And once again, I apparently don't know how to count. It wasn't up all the way. Still, very quiet though. This is going to be good. Especially with these racks right here. So I have things on these trays, and when they're really close together, the plants are going to tend to stay moist for a longer time, right? Because everybody adds to the humidity. That's what you want, really, with these tropical plants, is they want that humidity. But it can be hard to have that humidity and have airflow and not have mold and fungus and root rot. So, airflow. That's what that's all about. Okay, hey, I hope everybody's doing well, having a great day, a great life, and everything's just going absolutely beautifully for you. Look at those fronds flapping in the wind. What's going on in your gardens or with your house plants? You have all your plants inside yet? You know, it's the end of October here, basically, so time for a lot of us to have done that. I was very early. Didn't need to bring them in as early as I did, but I did. I'll explain that next week, when I got some parts coming to hopefully get this bubble tube up and running. That would be nice. I have these pumps down here, but they're just not quite cutting it, and there's supposed to be a light that lights it up, so I don't know if that'll be visible. Anyways, oh, I meant to talk about this other grow light over here, and I said I'd get back to it later. This one right here. This isn't that big of a story. I was just updating the beginning of the video about stuff I had been doing off camera, and one of those things was just adjusting and replacing light bulbs. I lowered this grow light down so it's much closer to this coconut palm now. This coconut palm is one that I have been babying for the last few years. I've been trying to kind of bonsai it, which is just, oh, here, I'll try and explain. I'm going to keep this brief because it's the end of the video and I said I was going to go. So, when this coconut palm looks like this coconut palm, when it started to put out its first leaf, its first frond, that wasn't an immature leaf. So their fronds look, you know, like big blades of grass for a decent amount of time. And eventually they start putting them up where they have more and more splits in them until eventually you have all the pinnates. It's nice pinnate style to them. When they hit that point, when they start to do this, you can prune everything off and just start off with the new growth and pull and weigh these down. I'm not going to do it on the immature ones. That's what I did with this one. I just had a little piece of string and I just pulled and pulled. And I took that off this summer because I was just over it and I didn't think it looked very good. The advantage of doing that is I was told, and I didn't know if it was true, but then I did some Googling and I was like, it looks like it's a real thing, that can encourage trunk growth more quickly. And this little bitty guy is starting to ring up with some little trunk on it. So it did work. I'm starting to get a little trunk on this. So I might end up having, hopefully, the goal here is to have a very teeny tiny little coconut palm with a really scrawny trunk on it. It's going to look ridiculous. It's going to be adorable. But it's also something that I've been babying for a long time. So I wanted this to have its own grow light. You know, the coconuts are inside. They can be finicky, so I brought that down closer. Typically during the no, we're not going to do that. We'll talk about the coconut palm indoor care later. Like I said, I hope everybody's doing well, having a great day, a great life, and everything's just going absolutely beautifully for you. And of course, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye. Bye.